I see the letters, 2 S's, I got a K and a J, I got a Z over here, but I got a couple E's over here. I see vowels, consonants, I see groupings of letters. I just sort of see patterns. It's almost like the only letter I see for a moment. If I see certain letter groupings, I know I have a good chance of making this word. I've got an H-E-R-O, R, a C. If there was like a screen superimposed over that sentence, I'd see an E, I'd see an R-E, I'd see a sentence fragment. So I look at this new jumble of letters, and those letters start popping out at me. It's a matter of my hand trying to catch up with my mind.
There is something about anagram. It's like you have a third eye. You can look beyond what is obvious.
An anagram is a word or phrase that is created by rearranging the letters of another word or phrase. Very simple ones are cat. You can anagram that into the word act. Dog becomes God.
And that new phrase or sentence ideally says something new about whatever the original sentence was about.
Clint Eastwood anagrams into Old West action. Ronald Wilson Reagan anagrams into insane Anglo warlord.
Well, Cory, I met him on the internet.
Anagram is a great personality. He, like myself, has a love of words and language.
I'm the founder of wordsmith.org, and we update anagrams every day.
I happened upon wordsmith.org. Part of that website is a page called the Anagram Hall of Fame. When I initially emailed him, and it's an anagram of the first 3 lines of Hamlet's to be or not to be soliloquy.
And usually I get a lot of email. I can't respond to all of them, but somebody who comes to you with an anagram like that, you have to pay attention.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. That anagrams into, in one of the bard's best thought of tragedies, our insistent hero Hamlet queries on 2 fronts about how life turns rotten.
It encapsulates the whole plot of the play. Queries on 2 fronts about how life turns rotten. And of course it is a tragedy. Life does turn rotten.
And it just got distributed everywhere. And I went home and just typed in Cory Hamlet anagram.
When we first met, I immediately Googled his name, but I couldn't believe how much stuff came up for this guy,
A reporter from Australia, I'm probably gonna not remember exactly how it goes, but I think he said something, the world's all-time best anagram. I've seen greatest of the 20th century, best and greatest in time, and the 13th volume of the popular Uncle John's Bathroom Reader trivia series, the ones with the toilet on the front and everything. I work at the Essential Baking Company in the kitchen. I work here because I needed a job, and it doesn't hurt to have really great free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If we get a new food product in, or if there's an item, I will look at the word. I know that, for example, bean soup, I anagram that into the word subpoena one day. When I'm making sandwiches, there's so many different ingredients and people have special orders, so a lot of times I'll just see the ticket that comes back there and my mind will just instantaneously just see this arrangement of ingredients. It helps somebody get their, tuna Swiss grilled with a side of hummus, that much quicker. I think a great anagram is one that sort of reveals a hidden truth or is self-defining. I anagrammed the Pledge of Allegiance. It anagrammed as something like George W. Bush, an evil fascist Republican, end life, facilitate death, create militant rebel jihads, and send youths to die for nothing. Yeah, that one, probably the most controversial one. The first time I can remember really being fascinated with wordplay in general, I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. My mom, she saw a little fun activity of, take names of animals and scramble the letters and make a list, unscramble. Eventually I'd keep saying, oh, I'd like another one. Can you do more? Can you do more? I would take my allowance after that and basically go and buy crossword puzzle books. And I'd do the jumble in the newspaper. It got to a point where I would sometimes go outside, get the newspaper, and then finish the jumble on my way back inside. And I think my dad sometimes said, could you just not do that? Because I'd really like to do the jumble.
Well, Cory and his friends have these series of videos called Milo Verses. He's like, oh, do you want to watch the videos? I got them for me. And I was like, oh, all right, And gets to the end and Cory, all of a sudden is on his knee and I'm looking at the screen and there's, my name up on the screen and it says, please marry me. And I was just like, what? It was amazing. I mean, I never would have in a million years thought anyone would propose to me like that.
I think that he has an obsession. I really do. I think it's an obsessive thing to mess with.
There is a certain obsession to anagrams. Imagine that you have 30 letters. You're trying to rearrange them into something interesting. And you came up with a very nice phrase except for these 4 or 5 letters, and you're not sure what to do. You rearrange the whole thing, reshuffle them, and go back and come up with something. And eventually, you'll find that everything fits nicely. That's a certain high you get.
I'm like, don't get into anagrams, I say to myself, you know? This is danger, because you're gonna keep doing it, and everything you see is gonna be an anagram.
And it's kind of sad because after a while, I will only remember somebody by the anagram of their name.
He goes on and on and on. So there are times where I'm just kind of like, I just flash him a little kind of smile, like, it's time to stop now.
I just remind myself that it is a peculiar gift that in order to take it anywhere could take a very long time. I might have some pie in the sky ideas of I could make millions off of this. And that's great to think, but I pull back and say, let's just work on having a nice, comfortable house. It doesn't have to be big, be able to support a family, something like that.
It's hard being an artist. We struggle for sure, but where are we without those things? Where are we without our anagrams and our music?
Someone figured out that anagrams itself, anagrams into the Latin phrase Ars Magna, which means great art. That's always a fun little thing to, mention, by the way, this is a great art, in case you're wondering. So that's what I tell myself. To me, anagrams are my special little thing in life that I'm perfectly happy having it define who I am.
Yeah, an anagram, honestly, it sounds like origami. I really have no clue what that is. I know it's a literary term.
Anagramist? I don't know any anagramists, to be quite honest. Is that a trick question? Well, I'm a huge Harry Potter fanatic, so I can tell you that I Am Lord Voldemort is a perfect anagram for Tom Marvolo Riddle.
I think it's great that an incredible mind works at a bakery and makes great bread. I eat the bread that they make. So
All right, my name is Jessie Calhoun. No relation to Cory Calhoun, as I have no skill in anagrams